What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. We're back again with another live show. I know it's been a while, about 9 days or so, and I know you guys missed me because I know I missed you. We're here to talk about our midfield, right? It's a big conversation. Things are heating up about which players we should go after, and I have 4 players specifically in mind. I've left out Angelo Stila on purpose because I don't want to talk about him till we have a little bit more concrete links, in all honesty. But uh, the Premier League midfielders, right? I want to talk about them because I have my thoughts on who I would like and who I wouldn't quite like, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Hi, TG Gaming. Hi, Alex. Thanks for tuning in, man. I always see you on the comments. Appreciate it. Rishi says, "What's up?" Rishi's actually on the move, guys. So maybe we can get him to call from the bus that he's traveling in. Imran says, "Evening, Andy in chat. Yo, Andy, do you see us going for Semenyo in January?" I can talk about this in a little bit, for sure. OMIGL. For sure, I can discuss this. I think it's a difficult one to figure out because listen, we're going to be playing Bournemouth before we go into the January transfer window, so this is going to be an interesting one for sure. I just want to say, looks like we have a new member in JDeep, so appreciate you, JDeep. Thanks for becoming a member of the channel and showing your support. Cool. Let's get the topic started, guys. I mean, the players I have in mind are the players I put on the thumbnail, which is Joao Gomes, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, and Adam Wharton. And get in the comments down below on which of these 2 you would like to sign, because I have my thoughts, and obviously I'm gonna go through them in a second. But it'll be interesting, right? Interesting to see what makes the most sense for our team. But we're gonna start off with Joao Gomes, right? This guy is pretty heavily linked. Apparently, there was a Instagram post linking him to United, and Mateus Cunha liked it. So maybe some Agent Cunha action going on there. For me, he's a very all-action midfielder that's got really good defensive attributes. He's got really good hustle. Essentially, the things that maybe we're missing from Kobbie Mainoo. Okay, Miguel says you can call me Miguel. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what I thought it was your name, but I wasn't quite sure, so I didn't want to assume. Yeah, please like the stream, guys. We have over 20 people watching right now. I know people are still chiming in, so please drop a like. It definitely helps us out. So in terms of Joao Gomes, I personally like him a lot. I think his attributes are good. He's at a good age. We can get him at a good price. And the reason I like Joao Gomes is because he's not just a signing that can come play for us now, but he can also move to the bench if we ever get a better midfielder. So, yeah, I think Imran's point is a good one here. This is kind of what I'm going for as well. I think he could be somebody that's let's say starts now if needed, because we obviously need some depth in games like maybe Casemiro gets injured or he gets a red card. Bruno has to take some time off or something like that. He could be somebody that starts, but otherwise, for let's say 40 million euros, you're getting a very good squad player, right? And I don't think he's going to be an Ugarte situation where we regret signing somebody like that. But I think he's a really good player to push someone like Ugarte to even get better, and a good addition to our squad because we need some depth, right? We've signed some of those younger players like Christian Orozco, right? I think we're looking at Keith Smith from which team does he play for? AZ Alkmaar. There are some options there, but in terms of like first team strength and depth, we really don't have much. And so Joao Gomes really helps us out with that. Did you see Indy Kayla? What did Indy Kayla say this time, guys? Did he say the Qataris are back for let's see. Direct quote from our Man United source. My contact at the club are telling me that the bid has been submitted for Adam Wharton. Ruben Amorim loves the player and believes he can sell the project to Adam before Liverpool contact the player. I mean, I don't want to take anything Indy Kayla says seriously, because the one shout out they got from David Ornstein, and apparently they have the scoop on everything, right? So Indy Kayla, I don't want to listen to them. They're just taking the most obvious stuff and making up stories. Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, for sure. Miguel says I have that dude blocked. Absolutely. I have Alex. Interesting point. I brought this up on the podcast I did with Semix and James from the Muppeteers. Joao Gomez is making 105,000 euros per week, so it is expensive. And the question will be, is he okay to come to United and take like, I don't know, like 120 type of situation? Because it is still a pay bump for him. But if he wants 150, then we're looking at somebody that's going to start for our team, right? So I guess if we are signing Joao Gomez, the wage we offer him is very important, like in terms of our assessment of how good he is. Because if we're going to pay him 150, then we think he's a starter. If we're going to pay him 110, 120, then I think he's going to be more of a squad player, a rotation player. So that's an interesting one, Alex, for sure. I have looked at his wages. It is a lot for a backup. No, I agree. I do agree with this, but you have to realize we are offsetting some of that by paying a lower transfer fee for him. And if he wants to come to the club, and if Wolves wants to get a deal done with us, then I don't see a problem, right? And they are very high wages. When I did see it, I was very let's say surprised. Some more hate towards Indy Kayla, much deserved though. Honestly, man, they're just spewing nonsense like 24/7. So like, what do you expect? Indy, he's a liar. Also, what Gomez is offered could impact what Menu asked for in current negotiations. I agree. I agree with that, but I think the argument from the not Glazers, Ineos would be that Mainu's still 20. He doesn't have the number of Premier League games that Joao Gomez has under his belt, and he isn't a first team starter elsewhere. So I think, honestly, with Mainu, like 70 to 80,000 is more than fair for what he's achieved so far. If he wants to come into the team, dislodge one of Casemiro or Bruno, have like a season and a half that is amazing, then he can probably get a new contract. But for now, I'm sorry. I don't think even 70, 80 sounds pretty generous. Isn't 44 million pounds? Is it pounds? Is it 44 million pounds is what they've quoted? I'm not sure what it is. I thought it was euros. I thought it was 45 million euros. Is it a little high? Dude, the midfield market is crazy because we paid 50 million for Ugarte. So how can someone say that certain amount is too high? By the way, guys, this is a call-in show. So if some of you want to get in here and have a discussion, we can do that. I forgot to pin it in the chat here. Let me just pin this. Yeah, so if you want to join the stream, please use this link and come wait in the channel. Do you think we should move on from Ugarte in the summer if we get 2 in? No, because we need depth. We have 4 midfielders right now. If we sign 2 and let 1 go, we're just adding 1 midfielder to the team. Like, that's not enough. But let's move on from Joao Gomez. I think this is a decent signing for me, as like the second midfielder that we're getting. For the first midfielder, that would be the next 3 that we're talking about, right? So let's just go through them really quickly. So the next one is Elliot Anderson. Now, big conversation around him. I think a lot of people liked what they saw when we played Forest. Let's not forget we're going to be playing both Wolves and Crystal Palace in the next 5 games. So we will get a picture of all the 4 midfielders that are here because we already played Brighton earlier this season. We've already played Forest now, and we're going to play Joao Gomez and Adam Wharton in the coming games as well. For me, Elliot Anderson is a great midfielder. It's just the price that I'm worried about because I think a lot of players can look good from afar. But when you get him into a team like United and you play with big expectations, things can get a little sticky, right? And here's what I mean by that. Let me show you guys the FB ref stats for Elliot Anderson, right? Let me share my screen and figure out where I have this. There we go. Okay, so if we take a look at Elliot Anderson this season only, he looks like an absolute superstar, right? Because you're looking at, let me zoom in a bit. You out of 990 minutes, he's got 4.18 shot creating actions. He's got 90th percentile for passes attempted, 99th percentile for progressive passes. Decent successful take-ons, decent touches in the penalty box. And then, okay defensive contributions. This is better than Bruno, let's say. My problem with Elliot Anderson is in the Forest team, he is required to do a lot, right? Because they're a team that's not been doing well. Like this 990 minutes, most of these games they've lost. So how much does it make sense to look at these stats and say he's going to replicate them in a United shirt, especially with the pressure of the United shirt? I know he's an England international and all that, but I just have some concerns about it because if we spend 80 million on Elliot Anderson and he comes to United and looks half the player that he looks right now, that's going to be a big problem. And I just don't know the mental side of things, right? I don't know him personally. I have no other information. He does seem like the best all-round option. I agree, Alex. He does look very good. My only concern is what impact he has. With the England shirt, it is heavy, but the only thing I'd say, Alex, is what is the pressure he actually has in the England team? Because I read some stat with under Tuchel, they've scored 20 goals and conceded 0, and they've played like crap teams so far, right? The real pressure you can tell when he plays like in the World Cup or something, right? Or in a big tournament, when it's a crunch game, that's when you actually realize what type of pressure you're having. Whereas with United, like you have a bad game and everybody's on you immediately, right? And for me, that's the thing. Like it's the same thing with all of these players. It's not just like, I don't think Elliot Anderson has the pressure and Joao Gomes doesn't. I just feel like when you're an international player, English isn't your first language. I feel like the hatred that you get from the stands, you just don't understand it. And it's a little bit easier to function, if that makes sense, right? Because the English players, specifically when they come to United, they seem to struggle with the weight of the shirt more than any other type of player. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my opinion. I'd love to hear from you guys. England pressure is once in a while where United will be continuous pressure. Yeah, exactly. That's the point, right? And England pressure kind of comes when you have a quarterfinal or a semifinal in a big tournament and you drop a deuce. Let's not forget the hate that David Beckham got, right? Was it the 98 Euros or World Cup? I forget. But Anderson is just an above average Conor Gallagher. That's a hot take if I've ever seen one, guys. Looks like Semix is in the chat. Semix, if you want to come join the stream, we can have a chat live. Let's see. Rishi says even Brazilians can understand fucking shite. I mean, I hear you, but I feel like someone like Maguire understands it a lot more. Now, whether that's because he was never worth 80 million, that's a different question. But I think the time has passed on the Maguire conversation. If Manu steps up his game, you don't need Anderson. Names like Baleba and Wharton make more sense to me. If the brief is to sign a pure progressive passer, Wharton wins, but the question marks on ground coverage and fitness remain. No, absolutely. I think it is a concern, right? I think that's my point, right, Alex? That's a great point you bring up. That's kind of the discussion that I'm trying to get around, which is I don't think there's a clear-cut signing that you can just go and make that will just revolutionize this team. I have my reasons for who my favorites are. I've already talked about Joao Gomes as being one of the good options. Semik says, my biggest concern is football IQ and intelligence. We don't have enough players who understand positional awareness and movement. Anderson, Wharton, and last year's Baleba seem to do that well. No, absolutely. I think those are good points. Semik says, I'm at work, bro, sneaking in while listening to you and while the boys are putting in reps. Yeah, for sure, bro. No problem. Maguire is monument to failure. I mean, yeah, bro, but it's an old conversation. That's my point. Like let's stop with the Maguire hate, because it's not his fault. He's done his best, and let's be honest, he has kept a fairly decent attitude towards everything. He hasn't thrown his toys out the pram, which we can't really say about the other folks that we've played with. Better wingbacks are needed just much. Absolutely. And that's a conversation for another day, because we're talking about midfielders here. Baleba is the best out of the three. I know he hasn't playing well so far this season, but he's still very young. Great point. And that takes us to the next midfielder that we're going to discuss, which is Carlos Baleba, right? So let me get that guy onto stage here. Stop screen. Let's talk about Carlos Baleba, guys. Get in the thoughts. Start getting in the comments with your thoughts on Baleba, because in my opinion, Baleba is a very interesting one. Okay, we just got a super chat, guys. Let's see what this guy has to say. Just joined the stream. I have a crazy fantasy. That fantasy is called Warren Zaire-Emery, alongside a second, more experienced signing. He's a generational talent in the way that Manu simply isn't. Dude, I mean, Zaire-Emery would be something else. Like, it's like, people are saying Joao Neves, right, who plays for PSG. I know maybe Zaire-Emery isn't getting the same minutes that he probably wants to at PSG. My only concern would be the physicality, right? Let me see how tall Zaire-Emery is. Let's see, Zaire-Emery, he is 1.78 meters. Interesting. So I think that's about 5'10". It's the same height as Bruno. He is a little bit like diminutive in his size. He has a contract till 2029, and his value, according to Transfermarkt, is 50 million right now. He's 19 years old. I mean, he would be amazing, dude. Honestly, this is a great shot from the Bisom Fana. I'm sorry if I've said your name incorrectly, but that's definitely a great shout, dude. Zaire-Emery would be a great signing, but again, physicality would be the one question. But I think he's smart enough to kind of get rid of the ball fast enough, if you know what I mean, like a press resistant midfielder, and also knows when to release the ball. So he would be great, but he is 19. So that would be the other question, right? You're signing a 19-year-old to not play Manu, who's also like around the same age bracket. So that's going to be an interesting shot. Yeah, but thanks for your super chat, man. I think that's it's definitely an interesting shot. But let's talk about Baleba really quickly. We have a couple of people waiting in the stream to get on in the conversation, but I just want to get with the finish out the conversation that I wanted to have around Baleba. So, in my opinion, Baleba would be a really good signing for us. I have some concerns specifically around his passing, because I think he has the tendency to be a little erratic at times, right? I think he's got really good dribbling. He's got really good physicality. I would put him in like a similar bracket to Joao Gomes in terms of his his hustle, the way he moves around the pitch as well. And physicality is no doubt for me. But my only concern is his composure a little bit when it comes to passing, because I don't think he's a good enough passer. And my concern is dealing with Brighton is like, how much is this guy going to cost, right? Because I just feel like they're just going to charge us the same price no matter what, even if he's had a bad season. And that's my only concern. So I like Baleba. His stats look horrible this season. Like, if I showed you guys the stats, you would not want to go anywhere near this guy, not with a 10-foot pole, right? Let's take a look at his stats as well. Sorry, I got to keep going back and forth between these two because I can't really share my whole window. But if we look at this, let me pull up Baleba. Yeah, this guy looks like I don't even know what to call it, like 20 million midfielder based on his stats. But I know stats don't tell the whole story. So in my opinion, I'm happy to consider Baleba. Honestly speaking, if this was like a normal market where things weren't going for crazy prices, we should be looking at 50 to 60 million for Baleba. If that is the price, dude, forget Joao Gomes, forget anybody else. Let's go get Baleba right now. But my concern is if we get him for 80 million, 100 million, it's going to be a similar problem to what I mentioned with Elliot Anderson, which is I think these guys are just like good Premier League midfielders, right? The reason they seem so great to us is because we've been starved of like midfield signings for so long, right? So we need to temper our expectations about what these guys are going to be, because what's going to happen is, let's say we go get Elliot Anderson for 80 million and Baleba for 80 million. Now we have 160 million worth of talent in our midfield. And the second we go through, let's say 5-10 games where they haven't picked up to, the system or the team yet, everyone's going to just be like, what the hell? We wasted all this money and we're going to be back in this negative media cycle, right? So I don't want that to happen. I think the underlying tone with all the players we're talking about today is that we need to get a good price. But let me just get some more of the comments here, and then we can bring in the next folks. Cyberman says PSG is not really a selling club. I doubt we'd get Zaire Emery for the transfer market price. No, absolutely. I think Zaire Emery would be more expensive than any of these midfielders we're talking about. I think you're at least looking at 80, 90 million. I think Zaire Emery looks like the perfect midfielder that Pep Guardiola would like to sign for his system, but he's also playing a different style of football this season. Like he's not playing the tiki-taka, like small players type of system. So I don't even know if they would go for him. I do think United will go for PL Proven with at least one center mid in the Jan or summer. Good point, Alex. Nonstop. How you doing, man? Very nice to see you again. PSG is a selling club when they want to offload crap to upgrade. Rishi, I think. Well, first of all, Zaire Emery isn't crap. I think the only reason they would sell him is because he wants to move. So the question is, does he want to move? And then Rob Dawson said United aren't signing anyone in January. I think, again, would we be surprised if they went and signed like one person? I don't think so. I think a backup like squad depth type of player is definitely possible in January. And that's why I think Joao Gomes is a good shout. The topic today is midfielders, like which midfielders should we sign, basically. Whether it's January or the summer. Why is nobody talking about Palhinha and Sander Berg? Because Palhinha is old, man, and Sander Berg is a conversation we were having back when Ollie was still here. So, we need to look forward. We need to get like quality starting midfielders that are in their prime or approaching their prime. No, I know you meant that, Rishi. I know you meant it was Ugarte for Neves. Rishi's going crazy in the bus that he's traveling in. It's like, you calling me out, bro? Rob Dawson's not a great source or journalist. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't believe Rob Dawson. Yeah, purely hit and miss. People talking about Luckhurst. Okay, guys, it's time to move on. Time to bring Nelson into the call. Nelson.
Hey. Can you hear me?
How you doing? Yes, I'm good.
Oh, perfect. You were talking about midfielders. You said Zaire Emery for sure. I don't think 90 million's PSG are even going to look at that. It'd be 150 plus. Like
150, bro. He doesn't 100%. Even start though.
Yeah,
he doesn't even start for them.
They sold us Ugarte for how much?
50. Yeah.
There's no way he is double the price of Ugarte. He doesn't start for them.
Okay, hold on. But Nelson, the true price of Ugarte was lower than 50. You know 100%. What I'm saying? Like the true 100%. Value of Ugarte. And at that time, we thought we were getting somebody that was good because he was 22. He's still only 23.
By the way, just so you know, I never thought he was good because of his passing stats. His passing stats were always poor, even at PSG, even when it was coming.
But the general understanding around him was that he's a good player, or we were getting a good player because we were linked to him before that when he was at Sporting.
Correct.
Then he went to PSG, and then we purchased him for, I think, 10 million less than they sold him to PSG for.
But Ugarte's mold seems to be what everyone thought Ugarte was going to be was the N'Golo Kante type, the all-round box-to-box midfielder.
Yes, yeah.
Where N'Golo Kante, where most people seem to misunderstand, is his passing was extremely good, but his mobility was insane. Which Ugarte has.
Also, his dribbling, not just off the ball, on the ball as well. Because Conte, when I forget which manager it was, I think it was maybe who's the Italian guy? Under Conte was actually playing as almost like a 10, like 8 or 10. He was getting into the box a lot. because he had such good elite dribbling, right? He had elite dribbling skills. People thought he was just actually the misconception people had about Casemiro, a lot of people have about Kante as well, which is
correct.
Even I had this with Casemiro. I thought, oh, just win the ball back, give it to Kroos or Modric and move on. Whereas actually his long passing is very good. His composure on the ball is very good. And we only saw some of that once he came to United. So with Kante, people are missing the boat on that as well. But yeah, continue.
But so I don't think Zaire Emery's even I don't even think we should even contemplate. Because he's
but if he wants to move, right? I'm saying under the right situation. If he's pushing for a move and he wants to move somewhere and the United project is looking attractive, then I don't think we should also just be like, oh, even if he's available for 90 million, let's not go for him. That's kind of my point.
My concern with people like him, they are clearly a 3 midfield type of player. Like the people I've been looking at are only midfielders who play in a 2-man.
In a 2, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to see anyone who's primarily in a 3. So that's why I looked at Baleba, Wharton. I have my concerns about Anderson just because he seems to be overperforming, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. His numbers look amazing, but he's playing in a very struggling team.
Correct.
So that tends to happen.
If you look at his underlying stats, the amount of ball he gets a ball more than almost any midfielder in the Premier League right now. That's insane. If he comes to Manchester United, will he get that? I don't know. Like, would we have the time where,
especially in this system, dude, because we're trying to bypass the midfield a lot of times.
Now, you've not been a Baleba fan, and I'm not because of this season, but because if we are playing Baleba and he dribbles a lot, I see him as a dribbling type of midfielder, not a passing kind, not like a Wharton or Anderson. If he loses the ball, we need another mobile midfielder next to him. So if you're getting Baleba, you have to get another mobile midfielder, which then would be, in my opinion,
it's not Wharton, it's not Anderson.
Exactly. So do we get like a Moriba from Celta Vigo? Do we go to like these French, like, Kamara, as you had said? Do we get someone like that? But then at that point, then
we're struggling with the passing because both the players are not good enough with passing. Yeah.
So I have slowly started transitioning from looking at a Baleba type midfielder to 2 passing midfielders. Or unless if that's a question I would love if someone asked Amarim is what exactly does he want? Does he want 2 passing midfielders or does he want 2 mobile midfielders? Because what it seems like it's
Nelson, don't you think the mobility in the system comes from the wing backs?
No, I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Okay. If you look at how Hjulmand plays, Hjulmand was constantly bombing up and down, constantly. And it's his passing ability that was really important. The wing backs are supposed to confuse how the attackers set up. Right now, teams are easy to press us. If you have good wing backs who push forward.
When you say mobility on the ball, are you talking about progressive carries?
Progressive carries, and the way he carried the ball was he carried the ball like this is going to sound crazy to some people. I mean, like an Iniesta type, where it's not just dribbling, it's pass and go, and it's I don't want the ball to stop moving. I want it to continuously be circling around players, and because we had the wing backs cut in, the overloads were what were impressive. If we bring in that type of midfielder, our wingers outside of Ahmad, if the left wing is an issue, so if you bring in like a Baleba, the first guy you have to bring in is a wing back. So if we're doing that, as Samex is saying, if he wants one to carry and one to pass, then that means we need a wing back, a left wing back, Baleba, and a Wharton in one window. Because you would immediately start noticing when Baleba's carrying the ball and he loses it, or he gets to a point he's looking around, there's no movement, which is the issue right now, in my opinion. Movement on the left side is an issue.
Can I give you a crazy shout? And I on purpose had not brought up my 4th midfielder.
Okay.
Because on the thumbnail I've got Joao Gomes, Elliot Anderson, Baleba, and Wharton. Right. I haven't talked about Wharton yet.
Okay.
In my opinion, our priority this summer should be to get Adam Wharton. I like him more than any of the midfielders, and I'll explain why. His stats don't look very good, but he strikes me as a very coachable player. He strikes me as a very low ego player as well, because he was asked recently, like, would you like to go to one of these teams or whatever? And he said, I don't care. I'm focused on Crystal Palace. That was, I'm paraphrasing, but that was kind of his answer. He's also 21 years old. He's also left-footed, and he's very silky on the ball. I think he's very press resistant as well. And I think whatever gaps somebody wants to throw at me in his game, I won't disagree with that, but I think he can learn. He can get better more than any of the other midfielders we're talking about.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Wharton should be our number one guy. Yeah. Because I think he's the regen. His Carrick's regen. And and I actually think like the better version of Carrick, not the starting first version we got of Carrick. Like Carrick got better as he got older.
Prime Carrick. Let's say prime Carrick. People are going to start disliking the video.
Sorry, prime Carrick. I think Carrick got better and better as he went on. And I think Wharton seems to have all the good fundamentals that we like. I agree. But if we're going with Wharton, then that changes who I think we have to go for the second guy. And I am slowly disliking the idea of Baleba and Wharton together and slowly moving towards an Anderson type more.
With Wharton?
Yes.
Right.
Because then you have this. The reason I say that is if you look at our numbers, and maybe it's because of the way our team's set up, we're second in long balls right now of all the teams. So that means there's something that Amarim is seeing about long balls, that the direct play that might be better if we get better long ball players or people who pass the ball quite accurately a lot of the times. As good as Casemiro is, and he is actually showing his underlying stats are really, really good. I think Anderson is a much better long ball passer.
I think so. The thing with Casemiro is, the thing with Casemiro is, he is actually an all-action midfielder that is just past his prime. That's the problem with Casemiro, right? That he has gone past the time where he can do everything and still look good in the midfield. Whereas now with Wharton, the reason I like Wharton so much is because first of all, he's playing in a low/mid block 3-4-3 system. Yeah. And that is much more complex than playing in a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Right. And Glasner is a very good coach. So if you can survive under Glasner, not just survive, but thrive under Glasner, that's a good sign for what you could do under the Amarim system. Because again, you have to be positionally versatile. Wharton, in playing in that, let's say, left center midfield spot or right center midfield spot, he has to interchange with the wing backs. He has to interchange with the 10. He has to sometimes go into the center back role, right? That's what we've been seeing. And I think he can do that very well because he strikes me as he's got a few seconds up here, right? That's what he strikes me as. And that's why I like Wharton the most, even though his stats look, Baleba's not doing himself any favors, but I was going to say his Wharton stats look the worst, but Baleba's actually looked the worst, but Wharton is like second to last, right? And I think, in my opinion, Wharton would be great. And I actually disagree with you slightly in the sense that I do think Baleba and Wharton would work well in a midfield. And the reason I say that is because I don't like Wharton and Anderson as much. Why? I feel like both of those guys are going to be too slow. And physicality is too slow as a midfield pair. They're not fast, right? And they don't have the progressive carries. They're both good progressive passers, but then you're relying on ball progression, like with dribbling, to happen through the wing backs or to happen through the 10s dropping deep. And right now, if you look at our system, right, it's very reliant on Mbeumo and Cunha dropping very deep to pick up the ball and progress the ball forward. And I want us to get to a position where we can do multiple things in a game, depending on what is required of it. And right now, Bruno can't do the ball progression that Cunha can, and Casemiro can't do the ball progression that Mbeumo can. So if we get a Baleba, what that helps us do is he can do some of the ball progression, and then one of the 10s on which side Baleba is on can do something else, right, in a team. So that would be the next evolution of the team. And then we have Wharton there to do the passing. So if we want to switch it out, because you think about it this way, because Amram's midfield plays as a diamond, right?
Yeah.
Baleba can be the head of the diamond. He can be one of the sides of the diamond. He can also be playing on the wing, like compared to the wing backs. And Wharton can be the one switching the ball out to him whenever we need to. So I think that gives us like many more tools to our arsenal, if you will.
Yeah.
If we get a Baleba and a Wharton, and that's the way I'm thinking about it. My only problem, again, coming back to this, the reason why I said Joao Gomes and I didn't say Baleba is because of the price. That would be the only thing, because I do think it's not going out of my pocket. You know, maybe Nelson's getting some money if we sign Baleba, but the problem, my overall thing is if we spend too much money, we might be in a situation where they're labeled as flops. There's undue pressure on them, and we don't need to do that.
And that's my only concern with Baleba, to be honest with you, is Brighton wouldn't sell him for a little bit of money. Like, it's going to be at the very least about 70 to 80 million is what I think they would go. They'd be comfortable selling him as. I'm with you on Wharton. I think Wharton should be our number one guy, because there are multiple molds that you can decide if you want to go a passing route, if you want to go a guy who's dribbling. Because if you're saying dribbling, then I think it was Alex that I was speaking to on Discord, but
yeah, it's Alex.
Yeah, so
he's on the stream as well right now.
There we go. I like Alex. If we were going the dribbling route, then I would actually go outside the Prem, because I think there's a lot more dribblers outside the Prem who do also have physicality as well that we could like a Stiller. Like, and I know I was previously I said we shouldn't go for Stiller, but
I'm sorry, Stiller for dribbling?
Yeah. Because his dribbling stats are insane.
Oh, I need to look at this.
Yeah.
I didn't see it when I saw him, but let's see.
Check it right now. I think his take on percentage is fairly high.
Well, it is also in the Bundesliga, right? It's
true.
That's the problem, because in the Bundesliga you do have more space, you have more time, and we've seen that with Šeško already.
But then you look at people like, I think Marmoush's dribbling has translated in the
yeah, but that's a forward, and he's also protected by playing in City for Pep.
But the way Pep is playing this season, he's more like they seem to be attacking like more centrally this season than they were in previous season, where he was like go out wide.
Yeah.
So I, in my opinion, I think Elite. I know we love mocking Liverpool. Wirtz, I think, has actually looked, dribbling wise, has looked fairly well. It's his final stuff that is kind of questionable. He's not getting the amount of time that he would get in Germany, for sure. I think that's Slot actually playing him poorly than him being a bad player.
No, I agree with all that, but you're talking about the best midfielder to come out of Germany in a decade.
I disagree. I think coming out of Germany. Yes.
Coming out of Germany in a decade is Wirtz, right? That's why they paid the big money for him. And I agree with you. I think Slot is the fraud here. It's not Wirtz.
Yeah. I don't think.
And in fact, I think more than Wirtz, the person I'm upset for is Kerkez. Because he's making Kerkez look like a bum. Dan James.
Yeah,
like he's making him look like a bum.
If we had him, he would look so much better.
He would look amazing.
Yes, 100%.
Exactly. So Kerkez is the one that I'm upset about. Even though Kerkez is only 30 million, Hungarian player, like nobody cares about him type of thing. But Kerkez, he's letting him out to dry because he doesn't ask Gakpo to track back. His midfield's all at sea, and he's playing like suicidal football. So, in fact, listen, he's talking about playing the ball on the ground and all that. How did they beat Real Madrid? They played a 4-4-2, and they had 46% possession or something like that. So you're talking to us like we're playing shit football and winning games. What did you do to win against Real Madrid? Your job was on the line.
You were 90s idiot. Football.
Exactly. Absolute idiot.
But if you do look at Stiller's numbers in terms of carrying, he has 72%. That's like elite, extremely elite. Every time he has a 72% successive carries or take-ons.
I'm just looking at it right now. Once I find it, I'll pull it up on screen.
You can pull it up. He is, in my opinion, and the reason I like him is that he plays both central midfield and DM, which is something that we are talking about in terms of progressive carries. The truth is,
Rishi wants to get some stuff off his chest.
Every time I say something, Rishi shows up.
He was
Richie's,
here. Let me tell
I
you, he joined the stream as soon as you were here. I was just being nice to you. As soon as he saw you on screen, he's like,
he's
I
like,
gotta come
I
in.
need to jump in. What's
Yeah.
up, Rishi?
I am so misunderstood. I am so misunderstood. I only came here to say hi to Nelson and to tell him that he looks like Kanye from that one music video.
Oh man, you put me with Kanye? Oh no. I'm
He's
I
doing
wearing
mean, I
all
think
white.
I think
And
he's talking about the old Kanye, not the new Kanye.
Okay, old Kanye I'm okay with. New Kanye,
Yeah,
no.
old Kanye everybody likes.
We disagree with the new one.
This
But-
is
but-
pre
A or
taking away the
easy or
award from
whatever.
Taylor Swift on stage.
Okay,
Before
okay.
that.
Then
Yeah.
we're okay
You
with
didn't
that.
even do
then.
that. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So
but
I
yeah,
was like,
go
what?
on, Rishi.
I was like, what music video was that? And I just went on to Google and I typed Kanye West classic.
And he's gone.
He's traveling. It's got
I don't know.
choppy internet.
Ah,
Probably
okay.
best he got cut off there. Nelson.
Before-
God knows what he was gonna say.
But also Baleba's stats this season are really good though. I think in terms of dribbling, I think his
Yeah.
67% take on. It's his passing that's so bad.
Yeah,
His passing is horrific. But I think that we're still technically early this season. It's only 10 games in, so you could see those numbers get up. But
I
with
think
you.
they're going to
I
go
think
up, man.
Wharton-
With Baleba, right? What people don't, I've said this a few times now on multiple streams.
Mhm.
The thing people don't realize with Baleba is he is making £12,500 a week at Brighton. Okay? That is less money than Cheeto Obi makes at United. And when he got linked to 100 million move to United,
Yeah.
you tell me one person that's in the chat, Nelson, me, Rishi, anybody that wouldn't be like, what the hell is happening? My life is about to change. He also had an injury. He's also recovering from an injury, right? So it looks bad right now, but it doesn't mean he's a crap player. So I still believe in him. And if we bought him, like I would back him to be one of the best midfielders. But
I agree.
The issue would just be about AFCON and stuff like that. But I think the next AFCON is going to be in
2 years.
in December or in the summer, anyways.
Mhm.
It's just the one after that'll be again in whatever. By the way, the song was Love Lockdown. Somebody said in the private chat. Let me see.
Love Lockdown. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
this-
2008 Kanye, so you're safe.
that's fine.
You're safe,
I'm okay
Nelson.
with that.
Yeah.
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 We're good.
I
with
think
that.
it also reminds me of the glasses Kanye wore, the one with the
With
shutters
the-
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
white in that. That was just like a public appearance, I think. Kanye West glasses. Let me pull this up. Let's give
Yeah, he's
Nelson some
the
love.
classic embodiment of you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah, and he's definitely become one of those.
You know, Nelson, you also look like Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty in all white.
Okay, that one I can take.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah, and
Take it-
also
Taking that
Also,
one, I'm okay with that.
very aptly, Morgan Freeman played Nelson Mandela.
Fair enough, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so yeah, two connections there to Morgan Freeman, the voice of every good trailer ever made.
So every time I show up, I should have a halo behind me, because it's just the
Yes.
brightness of my screen that's making it. It's gray, and so I've been white.
Oh, is it? What screen do you have that's that bright, dude?
I know it's because the room is dark. I don't have the shutters open or the lights.
There
on.
we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, that was a vibe. Dude.
Chilling like
That
a
was a
villain.
vibe.
Yeah.
We've
Anyways,
lost the plot, boys. No.
the people have left the stream.
Someone
We've
joined
lost 8
expected
people.
football.
Yeah, exactly.
So Kanye.
All right, but listen, it's an interesting conversation, right? Because in my opinion, I think Wharton and Baleba would be a good combination.
Mhm.
Price is the only thing I'd be worried about. If we can get those guys for 150, I think we're doing a good job. But it's just kind of if that's going to happen, because I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Rishi, what are your thoughts on this?
So I just wanted to address a couple of things people say about Baleba a lot after his drop off in form, right? People say that his head's been turned by the move to United and his performances have dropped. I don't want that kind of attitude. I just want to remind these people what happened when we lost to a League Two side and what our manager said. He said that I don't love my team, I hate these players, They've said clearly what they want. So
They spoke
Amarim's an
loudly.
emotional
They
guy.
spoke loudly. Yeah.
Amarim's an emotional guy. If he finds an emotional player, I don't think he'll hold it against him. And as fans, I don't think we should hold a player who thrives on emotion or thrives on that love, right? There are different kinds of people we find in all walks of life. Even if you're working in a corporate environment with 20 other people, not everyone is the same. Everyone is motivated differently, right? So it's the same with Baleba. See, I'm willing to give him till December or till January once he's back from
AFCON.
AFCON. After that, if he's still putting up stinky numbers till the end of the season, then maybe I'll have a rethink. But
Did he
apparently,
play
it
with
doesn't.
Mbumo? By the way, did he play with Mbumo in the recent World Cup qualifiers?
Well, when they lost to,
Yeah, I think he
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so we need Agent Mbumo on the line.
Yeah, and also it might be beyond what we think as fans, because the inside news is that Baleba is an almost done deal. They've agreed terms with him. They've agreed terms with his agent. The only thing that's left is agreeing a fee with the club. And from what I've seen of Ineos, they like to complete a deal where the work's been done, unless something big happens, like a huge injury where the player loses 3 or 4 months, and that alters how you look at the player and his near-term future. I think they're a club that very much like how how we used to operate under the Glazers and Woodward and Richard Arnold, where if a deal's been done in the previous summer, they'll go back in for the player for the next summer, right?
Mhm.
So we're quite a lot like that, where if we've agreed a deal, because remember we don't do deals very quickly, right? Cunha was done because the release clause was there, so
Release
it was
clause,
easy
yeah.
to activate. And
Mhm.
also, we had started working on that deal from January, because I don't know if you guys remember, there were links right from January
Yeah.
when Cunha signed a new deal with Wolves and his salary was increased, and also the release clause was put in place. So all of this was done in conjuncture with United, knowing fully well that they would activate. And I think on the 30th of May or the 1st of June, this release clause was activated. So well before the window even started. And then when we went into a fresh deal like Mbumo, it took us like 6 weeks or 7 weeks to get that over the line. Even the striker we got, Sheshko, it took a long time to do. Lomans we did quickly because there was not much competition and Lomans wanted to come to us. And also we have a great relationship with Antwerp. So all these things considered, uh, Ineos likes to work long on a deal, and they like to jump on a deal where a lot of the legwork has been done. So I think I'm pretty sure that Baleba is going to come to United, and if not in January, I think he is here. Of course, you'll want to see like a slight uptick in form after AFCON. Hopefully, he does decently at AFCON, and that spurns him into a bit of form in the league. So that's where I'm at with Baleba. And
But
regarding
Rishi,
yeah,
let me just say something on Baleba, because you bring up an interesting point about the legwork being done. Because I'll give you this perspective, right? Why did we sign Amarim midway through the season instead of waiting till the end? What was the reason that Wilcox gave and what Sir Jim gave? They said get all the bad stuff out of the way, right?
yeah,
That was
yeah,
their point, and Lord
yeah,
knows we've seen the bad stuff.
yeah.
So hopefully it is out of the way. But with Baleba, do you think the link last year was kind of a way to get his bad stuff out of the way, which is some of the pressure of coming to United, he kind of feels already, and his form is kind of struggling. Whereas he kind of gets it into his head that, listen, I'm going there, making a big step up. I know I need to be ready for this pressure. And now they've already tested the waters, got his price down a little bit, and now we can really go get him. Because I agree with you, they've done all the legwork. I'm pretty sure had Brighton said yes to say 80 million, because I think our first offer was 70,
Mhm.
we would have paid the money,
Yeah.
right? For Baleba, we would have paid the money. So if we can get him for 80 million now, I think they would just say, like, listen, we already did our homework last year. Okay, we valued him at 100 and we were paying 80, but now he's probably dropped off by 10 or 15. He's still at 85, 90, and he's still only 21, 22. So us getting him into this team, we have faith that Ruben can fix it, right? In a sense. And your point about the emotional players as well, it's a good one, because if he is an emotional player, then if anyone can help him, it's probably Emre. Like he's done a pretty good job with this team. He's done a pretty good job with Bruno as well. Like he's not playing the Hollywood passes anymore. He's doing pretty well in the midfield. And just in general, like if he can teach Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, all these guys a new system at their advanced age as well, then there is something to be said that he could probably do the right thing with Baleba.
And to be fair with Baleba, the reason why he started poorly is because he had an injury. Like, let's not forget that. Like, he did have an injury too. The thing about Baleba that since he's such a physical, like he would be the best all-rounded midfielder we can buy, technically. That part I do agree. So I think once if we do get him, we first have to make sure that he's in proper shape. I agree with you. I think the next month is what would be December. I need to see more. I need to see more successful tackles, more successful take-ons, more carries, so that you go, okay, that's a one.
Well, I think even if we start with him playing 90 minutes to begin with.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Even for Cameroon, he got hooked off at halftime, apparently.
Yes, he did.
And by the way, the folks, the players, some of the players that kicked Cameroon out of the World Cup, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Noah Siddiqui, who plays for Sunderland right now,
Tuanzebe.
and Tuanzebe. So interesting, some United connections from the past there. But Nelson, dude, you smashed it. If you want to wait around for a bit longer, I don't know, you probably have other stuff going on today. So if you do want to wait for a bit longer, I'll bring you back in. But we've got some other folks, so I'll bring them in. But great chat. Guys, show some appreciation for Nelson in the chat. It's always, adding interesting perspective to the stream.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
Man's got crazy ball knowledge.
Yeah, he does. No, he actually
I
does.
I mean that genuinely, yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see ya.
All right, see ya. All right, Rishi, I'll let you go as well. I'll bring in some other folks.
Yeah, all right, take care.
Cool. Let's look at some of the chat. Sean says he's unsure about that, Nelson. Well, Sean, you have an opportunity to give your thoughts. Go on. Tell us what you think, and get some other folks in too. We got. Let's see. Let me just do that and move that away. Cool. We've got a bunch of people who are camera shy. Maybe I should just turn off my camera as well. I'm just kidding. So wait, let's just get Kerwin and Gathanua to introduce themselves first. We know who the others are. Kerwin, where are you calling from?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm from ZAR, from South Africa. I do watch the channel sometimes, not all the time. I thought this is an interesting conversation. Let me hop on.
Yeah, great shout. Thanks for calling in, man. Gathanua, where are you calling from?
Okay, so can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So
Yeah, we can hear you.
I am from Kenya, and I've been watching this channel for a bit, I think now 2-3 years.
Oh, very nice.
So
very nice.
Yeah.
One of the OGs. Thanks for swinging by, man. What's your name?
Robert. Just call me Robert.
Robert. Okay. Nice to see you, Robert. Cool, guys. So the topic's open. I think we were on Shant. Give us your thoughts, man. How you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great, man. Can you hear me, or am I a bit low?
You're a little bit low, yes.
Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit.
I can also turn my volume up, but I'd be better if you fix it on your side.
Yeah, let me see if I can just adjust things on my end. Why don't you go to Poppy PK first, or is that Poppy PK?
No, that's fine. Yeah, it is
fine.
Poppy PK. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Sean, how are you?
I'm good.
How you doing, Poppy?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Andy. How are you? How's everyone?
I am great. I'm great,
How's the
man.
stream?
Yeah, it's going great so far. By the way, guys, if you want to join the Discord, I have made Poppy PK the moderator. So if you want to go harass him over there, feel free to do that.
No, guys, no.
Yeah, please
I'm
go
too
harass him. So
flattered.
he has some work to do. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to fire him. But yeah, he's the regular contributor to the stream, calling in from the UAE. And maybe his parents have told him to go to bed. That's why he's not on camera today.
No, man. I just came back from the gym. and I look
Okay, okay,
absolutely hollered. So
okay.
yeah, but okay. So this discussion today is about midfielders, what we're gonna sign.
Yes.
Possibly in the January or summer. And I came into the stream like late on. I think like around when Nelson was in there. Okay,
Hmm.
and I heard like some good points. Especially about like Baleba and Stiller, especially the dribbling one, because since
Hmm.
like I don't think anyone looks into Stiller for his dribbling, more into his like passing and in defending, like his defensive contributions. But I didn't expect like him to pull up the dribbling stats, and it's
Hmm.
interesting to see because like with the Bundesliga signings like that we've had, like I would say like they've been 50-50, to be honest. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
you
and
see
even
it.
even Xavi Simons, right? Like when I looked at Tottenham getting Xavi Simons, I thought that was a great deal because, in my opinion, he's a great player that I thought would do very well. Even Christopher Nkunku, when he
Yeah, and
came from
Kunku.
Leipzig to Chelsea, I thought he was going to do great, right? And those of us that play FIFA, you know how many team of the
Yeah.
seasons he's gotten.
Yeah,
Um,
like
yeah,
one FIFA he got like 10 special cards over the year. He was so good in the
he was
Bundesliga.
so good, and then he just looks, crap. And Xavi Simons is
Yeah.
is going down the same path, right? So you want to talk about Wirtz, but he's like literally was the best player. I think he won like 2 or 3 like player of the seasons there. And so he's been very good, and then he comes to the Premier League and he's struggling a little bit at least
Yeah.
with the physicality. So that would be my concern with Stila. And if we're gonna spend 50 million on him versus 50 million on like a Joao Gomez, I would have more confidence with the Joao Gomez. That would be my only
Because
point.
yeah, same here because Joao Gomez, like the guy has been performing like for Wolves, like the relegation side Wolves. Like they've been on the relegation side for like how many years, and he's been
Mm-hmm.
performing there, and like he not only has that, but like I think the connection with Cunha and the Brazilian
Mm-hmm.
connection with Casemiro, it will be way easier for him to
Well,
fit
Casemiro
in
won't be
as
here
one.
anymore, but yeah, with Cunha for sure.
Yeah, like yeah, obviously
Oh,
with
you mean in
Casemiro is gonna
January? If
go.
we get him in January, yeah, he'll be here.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
be like a mentor to Joao Gomes,
yeah.
and what could help Joao Gomes before become like the best Brazilian CDM, and like and like he'll be a starter because guess what? He plays for the biggest club in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
if he performs for us, then you
He
know,
gets into the Brazil squad as well. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah, for sure.
it would be a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
May I
And
yeah. I agree.
interject?
Yeah,
mhm.
go for it.
Yeah,
May I
who
interject?
Kerwin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
do want
Kerwin.
to. I did catch your three-way your three-way upload that you guys did recently with
Yeah, the
James
podcast.
and the
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
podcast. Yes, and I heard you speak about Joao Gomez, and you were speaking about height profiling. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what? A big part of football for me, in my opinion, is not just height; it's size. So height to weight ratio. And if you look at past Man United teams or great teams that challenged in the league, let's look at the 07-08 team. If you look at the spine of the team, and this is what we're talking about, we're talking about developing the spine of this Man United team that's going to win the
Mm-hmm.
league in the future.
mm,
You
Mm-hmm.
need a certain height profile, weight profile from your defense, goalkeeper, all the way through to your striker. But the further forward you go, the lesser the height needs to be. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
of course, Sesko at the top is a different story, but in the midfield position, in my opinion, if you sign a Joao Gomez, I think you're going to have problems. He won't be able to pin himself to the defense like a Casemiro can when you do go into
Mm-hmm.
a low block and you need someone to add in that extra height.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about Joao Gomez, when I look at him, he's a similar height, I think, to Kobe Mino, but he plays with greater temperament. And that's maybe why you want to bring him in. But at the end of the day, he's going to be someone that's going to go and sit on the bench for someone like Bruno if you do sign a Baleba in
yeah,
Yeah,
in
that's
your next
true.
window.
So Kerwin, the point was not to sign Joao Gomez as a starter, but as a squad player. And I think he
Perfect.
can definitely, yeah, he can definitely do a job as a squad player. It was kind of my point, and I agree with you. I love the fact that you're
yeah,
bringing in a point I made on a different channel onto this stream because that tells me that You guys are enjoying the content that's being put out, so that's amazing. But I agree with you. I think height is a concern, and as a starting midfielder, Joao Gomes would be a bit of a concern for me. But it's not like Baleba is that much taller, because Baleba is 5'10",
Yeah, but
Joao Gomes is 5'9".
but that's the thing. You're looking at a small player like Joao Gomez, who plays a lot of his game is based on his temperament, whereas Baleba, a lot of his game is based on his strength that he has in his buttocks, in his thighs. Okay,
Yeah.
he might
I
not
kinda-
be.
I kind of
might-
want to
he
go to
might not be the
bat for the short kings here because I understand what you're saying and I understand about the high profile, but we're not acting as if Roy Keane was Vieira height. Roy Keane was about the same height as what Baleba is.
That's the case I'm trying to make as well. If you are going to sign someone who's smaller, then you can sign someone with a better temperament. But if the physical profile doesn't match, let's say Mbumo, he's a short player, right? But look at
Yes.
his physical profile. He's got the same height as someone like an Anderson and a similar weight to Anderson, but all his strength and weight is in in that area that counts. That allows him to hold off players. But when I compare an Anthony to, let's say, Rodrigo at Real Madrid, they're the same height, the same weight. If Rodrigo comes into the Premier League, he can't stand on an island playing on the right-hand side. But if I took a Mohamed Kudus and put him on the right-hand side in the Premier League, he's going to eat every day. But if I had to ask you guys who's the better player between Rodrigo and Mohamed Kudus, you guys are going to tell me Rodrigo's the better player. 99% of people are going to tell me that. And that's why I say, like, I understand that. I'm not saying you can't have short players in midfield, but I think for us right now, we need to get our temperament and our height profile and size profile up before we start dropping in your Zubamendis or your Odegaards, these players that have quicker hips, that can move better on the ball. Baleba is the exception to that rule. If you were going to sign Baleba as a CDM, I will accept that because he would outduel anyone. Do you know last season when Baleba took on Kobe Mainoo, it told me immediately that Kobe Mainoo cannot play for Man United. He got absolutely schooled. Why? Because Baleba just put him on his hip. That's all he did. He put him on his hip. If you can't play on an island in the Premier League, you are going to struggle. Play like Joao Gomes, when he plays, when I watch him, he's always off balance, similar to Mateus Cunha. The difference between Cunha and Gomez is that Cunha can battle with players at a much larger height class or weight class, whereas Gomez is going to be struggling. That's where I see it. I think it's important that we sign someone that's at least 1.85 meters tall in midfield, and then you can pair him up with an Anderson, who's another exception to the rule. He's just below 1.8 meters tall, but he's got strength. He's got a good weight ratio to his height, and he's strong and he's got that temperament. You need that in our midfield. That's what I believe. All I'm going to say, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, Kerwin, I just want to quickly, before I let you go, Sean, I think that's a great point, Kerwin. First of all, I love the energy with which you came in with your point, because I think that is important. You're saying it with your chest, and I agree with you, man. Like, physicality is very important in the midfield. And your point about Rodrigo versus Kudus, again, a fantastic one, because you're looking at these champagne players that play for Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga, right? How well would they actually do in the Premier League, dude? I mean, Lamal gets into the Premier League, a Sunderland player is going to do a scissor kick on him and then like end his career. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand how physical it actually is. And that's why Wirtz has come into the Premier League and he looks like a teenager. He actually looks like a scared teenager that, his parents have abandoned or something like that, in the middle of a resort somewhere.
But by the way, just one point, like Wirtz is a brilliant example. You cannot sign a player with that kind of profile, small buttocks, not the tallest player, and you're going to play him in the spine of the team for 100 million. That guy's got to go play on the wing. Therefore, not worth it. That's why if you sign someone, you have to sign them based on their physicality as a baseline. Yes, I don't need to tell everyone here on the panel, you need to be able to pass a ball. You need to be able to trap a ball. We know that. But go to every single past Man United team that is won under Ferguson. Look at the 08 team. You won't find a short player in that team. The only short players you're going to find, Tevez, Rooney, Evra, all temperament-based players.
That's strong. Yeah, that's strong. Rishi says you're measuring players like a 1950s pageant judge. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, they're good points, man. It has to be said, right? Like, listen, I think, was it Carl Anka who was obsessed with Mbumo's buttocks, consistently. So I agree with you, man. I think the strength is really important, and more like the balance, right? Where your center of gravity is, the center of mass. If it's very high up, like Onana had a center of mass that was very high up. He was very like
Ugarte has that problem. That's
Yeah.
why Ugarte
Yeah.
struggles. Ugarte's got a good height, right? A good height profile for the league,
Yeah.
but he's got the same issue that Donny van der Beek has. The shorter legs,
Also,
taller. You can't keep balance. If you look at that goal that we conceded, that Tal scored for Spurs against us, there was an opportunity for Ugarte to just put his foot in between the player and the ball on the run. He couldn't do that because he's small in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
also to add on
Yeah.
his point of height, I think also we need to talk of Caicedo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caicedo,
That's a
because
good one.
Caicedo is not a tall player, but when he plays in a midfield, this game we played, that 4-3 loss where he lost, where Palma
Caicedo's
scored
built
3
like
goals in the
Caicedo.
last.
No.
You see that last game, Caicedo was dominating Bruno left, right, and center, and I was like, this dude is class, and it's because of his
Dude, there
temperament.
was a game. So I analyzed Chelsea versus Bayern in the Champions League earlier this year when they lost 3-1. There was a point where Caicedo had 3 players on him. I think it was Kimmich, Gnabry, and one more person in the midfield near his own half. So the assist for the Cole Palmer goal, basically, against Bayern. You watch how he holds those people off, and he just finds a pass to Cole Palmer. And Caicedo isn't like a world-class passer, but I think it's a great point you bring up with Caicedo, because Caicedo has Baleba has the ceiling of becoming a little bit like Caicedo, right? In a different mold, right? He's more of a dribbler, more of a getting forward, but the physicality of holding people off and trying to shrug multiple players off and then trying to move forward with the ball, he can be just as good. So it's a
Also-
great point, man.
Andy.
Yeah.
Also,
Andy, I
remember
wanna
this guy.
add.
Yeah, let Robert just finish. PK,
Oh,
and I'll
yeah,
come
This
to you.
guy.
Sure.
Who was he? Musa Dembele. You remember this game where Musa
Oh,
Dembele
man.
played against
Oh,
us,
man.
and
Yes.
Pogba looked like a kid trying to wrestle Musa Dembele, and Pogba is 6'3". Dembele was like
Yeah.
under 6
6
foot or
foot,
maybe even
6'1" or
6
something.
foot.
Yeah. He was
Yeah,
shorter
and
than
Dembele-
Pogba for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great point. I think Musa Dembele is one of the most underrated midfielders in Premier League history. I used to love watching him play. The way he could just move forward with the ball was amazing. We have a new member, guys. Dave P. Welcome to the Footy with an Edge member team. Thank you so much. Please join the Discord. There's a member-only Discord, and you're very welcome to the family and get in on the chat. Or if you want to, come join the call as well. I'll pull you in. Poppy,
Well,
say.
Yeah, I also want to add, to Robert's and Kevin's, there's also a player, Kante. I think guys are forgetting about how Kante used to dominate that CDM position for how many years, from the start of the Leicester era to to 2021, 2022. But he dominated that position for me. The guy was unstoppable.
Mhm.
The fact that he when Chelsea signed him in 2017, they went on to win the title. That shows how
Yeah.
a CDM like him, when you have a spine in your team that will just do everything for you, dribble, tackle, defend, pass, shoot, and also not to forget the guy is short. The guy is very short, and yet he still started for France in that 2018 World Cup. And he won the Champions League in 2021 and won many trophies, even with Al Ittihad last year. The guy is still unstoppable, and he's still starting for France.
Yeah.
For me,
So
the best example for that is Kante for me.
Nelson's always on fraud watch. Come on, Nelson. Who pissed you off? You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Sorry. Wait, I just had a question. On Gadano. Is Gadano Kenyan?
Yes.
I know he's on mute. Oh, okay.
He's Robert. He said his name was
Robert?
Robert. Well, you figured something out from the
No. Yeah,
name?
no, his name look Kenyan. That's what I was wondering.
Okay, yeah, he is Kenyan. Yeah.
That's one of my peeps. Okay, so first of all, I agree with Kerwin. I know Sean was avoiding the short king argument, but to be fair, we need height. I saw your video with Alex, and I agreed with 100%. We definitely need, and I think we need
And
need
weight.
someone who's 6'6".
Oh man,
would
I
prefer
can't wait. I can't wait to start my propaganda because
let's-
I'm on the
Okay,
anti
okay.
Baleba train, but I'm just letting the crowd marinate in
Man,
their opinions.
No, I want,
Okay,
I want,
let's
Sean-
go.
I want to hear
let
Sean.
Nelson land, and then we'll go to you,
No,
Sean.
no, I am willing to hear what Sean wants to say.
Of course.
Sean, please
Okay,
go
okay.
I
ahead.
appreciate
Let's
it,
go.
Nelson.
Yeah,
And
go
then
ahead.
Kerwin, Robert, Sesko Zone, Poppy PK, everyone, welcome. This isn't going to be favorable. This isn't going to be popular, but I think we have to, as a fan base, kind of stop romanticizing the FIFA builds. Because what I've heard a lot of is we need a lot of height, we need a lot of power, strength, all of these attributes that at the end of the day we're kind of looking past and subverting what is actually needed in our midfield. I understand that we are only a two-man midfield in this system. However, if you gave me the opportunity of having a Verratti and a Pedri or someone of that ilk in their primes over these kind of very high potential, perfect, physical. We've talked way too much about Bundes today. I'm just thinking this has just been way too isolated. But there's a point there. You have to first identify what qualities are needed from a technical profile in the midfield, and then you can look at the height and the other attributes. I think we're not looking for 5'5" like very short players. They're all going to be within the same range. And
Well,
the difference
Verratti is 5'5", I'm pretty sure.
Well, no,
So-
I mean I don't want him to come. But all I'm saying
Yeah,
is
okay.
if a player like that in his prime was available, I would say for sure go for it. He's
yeah,
a
but
midfield
okay.
control.
So Sean, I'll give you. I just want to add a slight point to what you're saying, which is Verratti is not the typical short midfielder, right?
Yes.
Verratti was he had the Paul Scholes red card in him all the time, right? He was
course.
more of a Paul Scholes type midfielder for a short midfielder. And if you want to ask me, genuinely speaking, from the Barcelona team, the two players that I would feel would adapt very well to the Premier League, I think it's Pedri and De Jong. If we had those two guys in our midfield, despite their physicality or lack of, I think they're fast enough here and
Agreed.
press resistant enough to make it happen. But you're talking about two of the best midfielders of a generation of midfielders being able to do that, right? So you're kind of making the same point that we are, which is unless you're one of the best in your position,
Understood.
you're not going to survive.
Understood, but
in the
I
midfield.
wanted to kind of translate that into the options that we're looking at and for what purposes we're having. So the conversation around
I continue, Sean. Sorry, Sean. I'm
no, Nelson.
but carry on.
I know you are. That's why I want to see get to critical mass, and then I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, go on.
So when we look at the options that are available in the subsequent markets, in January, nobody's going to be able to prize Anderson. Nobody's going to be able to prize Wharton. Nobody's going to be able to prize Baleba, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So feasibly, the only options we have available are some, maybe, under 21 world talent. You might be able to get a Buati. You might be able to get a Keith Smith. I would be much more in favor of going for a Joao Gomes when the alternatives are Conor Gallagher, which I don't think would be. No. Although you have the industry, you do have the tenacity. I do believe that the chemistry.
Defensively, he has the same problems as Bruno, though. So
100%, 100%. He's not. There's if he's not a mainstay in Simeone's team, I view that more of an issue than an opportunity.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then moving forward, I think if we're going to be picking two of those four midfielders that you have outlined in the call, to me, and I know it's not going to listen, the idea of the Carlos Baleba is a wonderful dream.
Wait, you said, okay, hold on, Sean. Let's not beat around the fence. You said Joao Gomes. Who's the other midfielder? Just give us
No. Joao Gomes is a squad player for more competitions that we have going next year.
Okay. And who's the other one?
Yeah.
No, I still have two to pick because he's not part of my
four. Okay, you're saying two out of the other three. Okay.
Okay, the other three. Elliot Anderson, I think
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
proven due to his usage, due to how important he is for that forward side, regardless of how their current form is. Like I don't put that all on one player. I
Okay.
think
And he's
he
plugging in
is
play.
my number. He's the one that has proven it most to me based on availability, based on potential, based on how he ranks towards these other midfielders. You look at it, he is putting in terms of statistically, he's comparable to a Bruno. And second
Yeah.
is Adam
Okay.
Wharton. Now, Adam Wharton, I'm a little bit pensive on due to his injury record, but if you talk about a fit, I don't think you can get two better players than Wharton and Anderson while shoring up the potential, while proving what they have done in the previous Premier League campaigns. Whereas if we had just seen a YouTube compilation reel of Carlos Baleba, and let's say he was 18 or 19, I'd say, holy shit, throw 60, 70, 80 million at him. We have the benefit of hindsight and data points behind us to show that regardless of him being, tapered off of this injury, coming back in, to play for Manchester United is a much different proposition than playing for Brighton. And the same goes for Forest and for Crystal Palace. But the benefits in coming with the Forest and Crystal Palace examples in Anderson and Wharton respectively are that the usage of both of those players have maintained into they are integral players to the way they play. Whereas Baleba has fallen out of the fold because of circumstances that we've seen that have crumbled players in the past, that when we put the spotlight on them to play for Manchester United, they've been unable to get to that platform and maintain that level.
But Sean, I hate to disappoint you, but Nelson came on the stream today and he said he wants Wharton and Anderson. So I think you guys agree more than you think.
Well, so here's the thing. Whenever I say something's not going to happen, we're going to get Baleba now. It's just going to happen. We've already put the everything's been in motion. We've already secured it with the agency. I'm sure Nelson's getting at least a 2.5% cut off.
Yeah,
of that.
100%.
But
I hope so.
But and I'm not pissed about it either. I still believe there's intangibles there that, from the physical profile, he's perfect. But like you guys have said, with temperament, tenacity, and ability to weather all the things that come with being the starting midfielder for Manchester United, he's got to shape up really quickly. And I think we need to have a little bit more sobered eyes when it comes to evaluating Carlos Baleba, because I think we're so desperate for a big midfielder that I think we need to just look at what's in front of us rather than what could be.
Yeah. By the way, Sean, Rishi says you have a voice for radio. I don't know what that means about your face, but I'm sure you have a face for YouTube and a voice for radio.
I used to do a lot of. I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I used to stream on Twitch, and I did a lot of audio-visual work. So I have like DSLR cameras. I had the whole everything. So I
right. You just don't want to turn it on for us. I see.
Yeah, exactly. And there's other reasons. I'll DM you, but it's fine.
Okay, fine. Well, we have Ari. We have Ari who's joined the call. He's also a member. Ari, how you doing, man? Where are you calling from? Introduce yourself.
I'm fine. I'm calling from Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice to see you, man.
Yep.
How long have you been supporting United?
4th generation. Wait, no, I'm 3rd generation. My son is 4th generation.
Wow, very nice.
Since like you can remember 9, 10. Since I could remember what this looked like.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you got the studio. You have the setup that Sean says he does, right? He's just like, believe me, guys. But it looks like you're sitting in Sean's make believe studio.
Yeah.
Go on. Tell us about the midfielders, man. How are you feeling?
So I honestly, whichever two midfielders would be available, I think we should go and get them. For me, I think the two that would be available would be Stella and Gomez, just because they're from smaller clubs. If you give the club a good offer.
Are you talking about January or the summer?
January for sure. In fact,
let's not think about January or for now. Just tell me the two midfielders that you would love to see in the team.
At all. So ideally, I think that Elliot Anderson and Wharton would be the best combination.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wharton as a pivot probably is the best in the league right now. And Elliot Anderson, I think his action, and I mean, he does not have the top end creativity of Bruno, but I mean, you had mentioned it many times before. It may not be the specific exact things that we're looking for.
Yeah,
A
the
replication
combination, yeah.
of that with Bruno and of what Bruno and Casemiro is doing, but it probably might be, you know, different attributes that mesh for the system. And I think those two attributes that Elliot and Wharton has, where Elliot could run like a bull in a china shop. I think along with the composure that Wharton has, I think that would work extremely well.
Yeah, it's a good shot. But guys, I need to stand on business with this a little bit, right? Because I've heard what Shanta's had to say. Nelson, I'm less, at conflict with, because we had a long conversation about this. I think he sees what I'm talking about with Baleba. Let's take Baleba out of the picture, okay? No Baleba in the conversation. Aren't you worried that we don't have the defensive work that we need with a combination of Anderson and Wharton? Because those guys right now in this team, Casemiro is giving us like world-beating defensive numbers. I'm pretty sure he's the highest in the 99th percentile for tackles. Let me pull up his FB ref profile. But aren't you guys worried that Wharton and Anderson, the combination, doesn't give us the right defensive balance? And if it wasn't Baleba, but insert midfielder here that gives us his type of profile, who's like more all action. Think of somebody else, right? Price is no option. Would you prefer that person over one of Anderson and Wharton in that combination? Do you guys at least see what I'm talking about?
So what I will say here is I do believe that the control in this system is more dictated by the center backs than it is by the midfielders. So case in point, I believe that...
Sorry, control defensively or on the ball?
Both. So we're very much, I guess, overrating how Casemiro's performing, and we're underrating the influence that a much more ball dominant and progressive center back in the space of where Luke Shaw would be. Even though Luke Shaw has been performing, quote unquote, pretty decently, I think we have a tendency to overrate players that come out of form and in form. I say if you put Nico Schlotterbeck at the left center back,
Oh my God.
and if you have just someone with a little bit more industry and a little bit more, more seasoned defender than Eleni Yoro right now, I think what you would have is you have Delict in the middle, who's improved his progressive play. If you have Schlotterbeck as the left center back, and somebody that Eleni Yoro can just be the understudy to on the right center back, you'll see that type of composure now that the defensive responsibility for Wharton and Anderson would not need to be as high if they were in R2. But this is not to downplay Casemiro's output, because obviously those numbers look fantastic.
Yeah, and I just want to point out. So, Sean, I'm not poo-pooing your point, because it is a good point, right? That actually the defensive solidity that you're getting in the team, and even this would actually, your point would also work for the height argument, right? Yes. Which is when people talk about, such and such isn't tall enough to play in the midfield. Well, you actually can get the height from the left center back and the right center back jumping into midfield, right? Exactly. For winning the duel. So
that's, I think, ideal in the Amaranth system. But I think where you're leading to is where we're at right now. And
no. Actually, so where I'm leading to, okay. So when you're building a squad, right? You don't just build for the ideal state of the game that plays out the way you want it to play out. What you're also building it for is when things go wrong. Yeah. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that you can't just build for the fact that left center back and right center back are going to be tall and we get in good players there, and the midfielders can just be the champagne, playing on the ball, and they don't need to do as much defending. The point is, when things go wrong, when somebody tries to break down our system, because let's not forget other teams are allowed to play well. So if they can have a good game plan against us and cause problems for us where the left center back and right center back maybe have to do a man marking job on somebody, so they're not really able to jump into the midfield as much, We need midfielders who can do more than they are bargained to do, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. So if we have a profile of an Anderson plus all-action midfielder, or a Wharton plus an all-action midfielder, in my opinion, that is a better profile that kind of covers all the bases. Because you have too much focus on the passing, too much focus on the progressive passing, and not enough focus on the physicality, in my
I'll
opinion.
concede
With
that.
that
I'll
combination.
concede that to you, Andy, 100%. Because
Okay,
I
for
think.
me,
Sorry, go ahead.
okay, so for me, as I think of Amorim's system, I don't actually think people understand how it is supposed to work and how he wants it to work, because first of all, he was in Sporting, where you don't particularly get your first choice player. So you first of all have to work with what you have. So your vision is not really what people are seeing on the pitch. And also to the two midfielders, for me, I don't see it as him wanting one that is a deep line playmaker, one that's an anchor man, or one that's a very good or a progressive passer. I think he wants both who can do a bit of everything when asked of. And for me, this is why I prefer to take a Baleba and an Anderson instead of Wharton and Anderson, because of that dimension of the play, such that you have a team that is ticking all over, such that anybody can do anybody's work, just the way PSG was last season. Because that is how I see Amorim wanting his system to play out. And I also saw a bit of that in pre-season and some of it in the Brighton game, where you saw Casemiro crashing in the box. You can only have that if you have players who can do a bit of everything, not players who are set on being good on just one thing. So for me, that's how I see Amorim's system playing out when he has the right players.
Robert, I just want to address Andy's point there, because I think it was very, you equivocally stated, I think, a more reasonable progression on how this squad will develop. I think in my mind, I'm trying to adapt towards the idea of, we've been winning with lower possession. I think the eventual outcome of this team, with the mastery of the profiles, mastery of the attacking flanks, not only being just right side dominating, also being left side dominated, showing more threats on the attack, is that we would have more possession in that game state. Therefore, I'm preparing for a much more control heavy, a little bit more akin to, unfortunately, Pep's style, but still with our flair. And that's why I concede the quote-unquote control in the midfield too. But what you're saying is a lot more realistic as to what we've seen, is that we've been having to play in much quicker transitions. You've needed to, sometimes you'll be under the cosh, and we're going to be the ones with our backs against the wall. And I think
but Sean, it's not. So I want to delineate the now from the future, because I even think in a future ideal state, if you build a team based on, like, this is kind of the problem that Liverpool has gotten under Slot, right? Because Slot is thinking, I'm going to get Wirtz in the team, I'm going to get Isak in the team, I'm going to play with two really high and wide fullbacks, and we're just going to dominate possession for 10 years, right? And that's how they've tried to build their team. The problem with the way Liverpool have gone about their squad building is that they haven't thought about the rainy day. They haven't thought about, if somebody figures out how to play against us, like, plays long balls, makes it a physical battle, what are we going to do in that scenario? So that's my point, is even if we get to a state where, like, 2 years down the line, this is the perfect Amorim team and everybody knows exactly how to execute it, we're going to go into games, whether it's against in European games, or big teams in the Premier League, or even the small teams that want to play physical against us. There's going to be a time when somebody figures out how to play against us. And if we don't have multiple bases covered by going for two midfielders that have a very similar profile, we might be in trouble. And that's the type of point I'm trying to make, because having a Baleba, although he doesn't give you the passing attributes that you want, which is what you're saying, right? Essentially, your point is that a Baleba over a combination of Wharton and Anderson takes away from our ability to play the ball as much, to keep possession, right? And my point is, if you're trading 5 percentage points in possession, what you're getting back is more points per game. That's just what my point is.
So can I just pose this question? Let's say these midfielders we just have Baleba versus, okay? If we had a Baleba versus a Sandro Tonali or a Bruno Guimaraes or someone of that ilk, let's just say, all things considered, which one would you be taking right now for this squad? A
Bruno.
Tonali?
Yeah,
would be Bruno
Bruno Guimaraes or
I-
Tonali. I would
I
take the
think-
other two probably.
I think
Yeah.
Guimaraes
Okay.
is the best one of the best
Okay,
midfielders in the
so
league. Yeah.
I think that goes back to what we're saying is I think we're kind of. Do you believe that Amorim is now going to be adapting his ideals for a little bit more pragmatism? Because that's what I'm hearing with what
I
you're
think-
saying.
I think
Do you
he
mean?
has
Are you asking if he is currently, or will he in the future?
He in the future because
He will.
So that's so okay. So if that's the case, then I totally agree with you. You need the most
Can-
well-rounded players that can cover the most bases rather than technical, just highest proficiency of one type of system schematic because, like you said, the difference between different leagues versus what Premier League is, you need that more well-roundedness because of those different
But
scenarios.
Sean, sorry. Last thing I'll just address to your last question there before I open it up to the other folks. It's not about whether Amorim wants to be more pragmatic. He's shown us that his system is built around doing whatever it takes to win the game. Because he's talked about this many times. He's like, he doesn't want to just build up with 10 passes or 30 passes before he gets a goal, just because that's his style. He has said if he can get it out to the forward players within 2 passes, he wants to do that. So by design, I think his football is pragmatic. Right, he's not a like champagne football type of manager.
No, you're right.
I think his end state does have more possession than he does now. But my point is that he is a very pragmatic manager. So I think he will want a situation where, like Robert said before, he wants all his players to do a little bit of everything because right now you have Bruno interchanging with the 10s, with the left wing back. Even when Mount plays in the team as the left 10, he's sometimes a left wing back, sometimes a left midfielder. So if you don't have the legs in midfield from either of your midfielders, which is what I see from Anderson and Wharton, they're not quick enough. You're going to have that problem of not being able to interchange with the other players as well as some of these guys can.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, anyone else wants to bring up a last thing? Because we've been live for 90 minutes now and I need to go do some chores.
Just wanted to mention something on Casemiro. He's the player that I was absolutely against signing. I thought it was such a bad signing because that was supposed to be the turning point on the recruitment. You're signing this old guy. But after Amorim has adjusted the system to this year, Casemiro has been top 3 player in our team on the basis that he's performing his role perfectly. And one of the main things that Casemiro does is defending space. That's what he's good at. He's defending space and he's sitting in that pocket, almost doing a Carrick-like role. One of the things that's really difficult to do as a defensive midfielder that you can't just sign from you won't just get from a Wharton or an Anderson or Baleba, is being able to screen without having to turn your head to see where your centre backs are. That's something that he can do the entire day. You want to keep that profile in your team next season as well, because you want to give that 4th midfielder, let's say 50, 60 minutes a week. Casemiro could fall into that category. I think they'll probably try and sign Casemiro plus 2 midfielders and Bruno. And by next season, we'll split Bruno and Casemiro and they'll play with alternative midfielders, whether that be Casemiro and Anderson or Wharton and Bruno. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, of that sort.
I think the only problem with Casemiro is he's not going to lower his wages because I don't think either of us have a problem with him just being around the club with all the experience he has. He's just not going to lower his wages. I will say one thing, guys, because I don't want this to get lost in translation. If we went and signed Wharton and Anderson, I would love nothing more than that because they are huge upgrades to what we have right now. And I believe in Amorim enough to problem solve in other areas of the pitch to solve the deficiencies that I'm talking about. So it's not that these guys would come in and just be a bum of a partnership. They would be very good. And I can see what Shant is trying to say. I can see what Nelson was trying to say earlier. My only point is that there is a certain ceiling with what you can do if you don't have the physical capabilities, right? So there's certain things that Baleba can do that Anderson or Wharton just can't. And that is the problem. Whereas, can you teach Baleba to get a little bit better with his passing over time? Probably, right? Not as good as Anderson or Wharton, but you can't just make somebody grow 2 inches taller or grow bigger buttocks like Kerwin was talking about earlier. So that would be my point.
Yeah,
Great
I
point.
just wanted to mention something before. I know I would have joined late. The fact that we're speaking about these players is something that, I mean, you could say it's a pipe dream. We don't know where we would finish next season. We don't know if let's say Bruno or Casemiro, one or 32 of them gets an injury. I would think the minute any of them gets an injury, that might cost us 5 games from them, because we're already gonna miss 3 of the top players for AFCON. Then that means we're gonna drop down to, I would say, about 10th. What we have right now is our squad playing with 11 players, because as soon as we bring on subs, we crumble. So I think that in order for us to get these type of players, we have to finish the season in minimum Europa League, probably Champions League, because the Champions League club's gonna come in for these guys. Real Madrid, probably not Barcelona, but Chelsea, Man City, all of these the bigger clubs gonna come in. Wharton, we all know what Liverpool gonna be like. They're gonna come in for these players, and in order for us to actually reach the level that we want to be at, to be able to even think about signing these players, we have to sign at least 2 midfielders, or at least 1 midfielder in the January window. So it's like a cascade effect. If we don't do it and Bruno gets an injury, or Casemiro gets an injury, then we wouldn't make top four. Then we wouldn't get these players. But if we actually sign 1 or 2 players in January, then we may make top 4 or top 5 or top 6. Then we could sign these players. Then we could get better. So to be quite honest, I think that if we don't sign at least 1 or 2 midfielders in January, it will be akin to the board sabotaging this manager. Because what are you leaving for the manager? I mean, he can probably problem solve only so much. We're running on a top level right now with the players that we have. And so what's going to happen on the day that inevitably we lose 1 or 2 of these players? So, like,
basically what Ari's saying is, if we play Ugarte for 6 games straight, what's going to happen, right? Which is going to be a big problem. So I hear you, man. That's a good point, and I think that's the strongest case anybody's made for getting Joao Gomes in the January transfer window, because I think when I spoke to James from the Muppeteers on the podcast, one of the things he said was the only reason Wolves might be willing to sell him is if they're worried about getting relegated. And if they do get relegated, his price goes down by 50%, 33%, something like that. So if they want to make that extra 15 million and then just shore up somewhere else, because they can sell him to us and then go spend that money on somebody else, right? They can do that in the January transfer window. So I think that could be a really good shot. Rishi is loving your Trini accent, man. I have to say, for me too, I love it. It's great to hear. I love it. You should come on more, dude. It's just, especially after a win. I want to see Ari after a win.
I have the notifications on. I'll put notifications on.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. But Papi Pique, give us your thoughts, man. What do you think about what Ari's just said about the importance of strengthening the squad now, so that we can actually be in a good position to go get some of these players in the summer?
I agree with what Ari said, especially about the part that what if Bruno gets injured, what if Casemiro gets injured? Because I don't want to see Ugarte starting 6 or 7 games for us in the league, because we will get fingered at this point. But
okay, all right,
because still we Ugarte, he doesn't have the quality that Casemiro has, even though Casemiro is way older than him. He doesn't have the pace.
Lay off Ugarte, guys. Come on, man.
Yeah,
He's just shit, man.
I've been hearing this.
I've been the right player for the wrong system.
Yeah,
I mean, just playing bad.
Ugarte,
I think
Ugarte does well in a three-man midfield.
Yeah.
If he had Mainu was in like a 3-man midfield, then he would do good.
Yeah.
But in a pivot, no way would I ever put Ugarte in that pivot. No,
I
think we need to sign.
It was a perfect example of what I was describing. Bruno had Joao Neves wrapped up to come to United. And we did not get him because we came 15, because we did not invest in the squad as we should have.
We spent the money on Ugarte. Dude, we gave PSG the money to go sign Neves by getting Ugarte.
Wait. 1 second. Joao Gomes. Are you talking about Joao Neves?
No, Neves went to PSG.
I
Neves went to
guarantee
PSG and
Neves would be destroyed in this system. And I say that confidently because he's all of the things that Sean was talking about would be seen worse here. Are we forgetting Vitinha?
he was Amarim's first
One
option.
second, Ari, 1 second. Vitinha was here. Vitinha was in the Premier League. He was crap here. He went to PSG and became the best midfielder.
Yeah, third in the Ballon
Neves-
d'Or.
Yeah.
Andy,
Sean
do you
Neves-
want this to be a 3-hour podcast? Because I could go against Nelson for
all
hours
day,
on this.
Sean.
No, we can get
I'm-
we can get you guys. No, we can get you guys on a future show. And Sean, if
Okay.
you can figure out your camera, we can get you guys on. We can do a dedicated show on this.
Come
But
on, boy.
listen. I'll
Yeah.
say something about Joao Neves, right? And I don't 100% agree with Nelson, but I think he does have a bit of a point because Joao Neves is becoming Joao Neves at PSG. The
Yeah.
pedigree that he's
Yeah.
getting is
Yes.
PSG in that
100%.
Luis Enrique in that league, right? And we like to shit on La Liga as a league that's not physical. Guys, Liga is even worse, right? Because the players there, they don't want to touch the PSG players because they know there's a contract coming for them if they do well, and just be nice to them. So we need to realize Joao Neves would struggle. He wouldn't look like Wirtz, but it would be close. He wouldn't look as good, and that's a good point. I think Joao Neves in a couple of years, once he's figured out his position and he has the experience, that could be a different conversation. But I think that's an interesting point. Guys, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. I got a lot of flack for both me and Rishi got a lot of flack for the Stat Patters podcast we did latest episode. Sean, I know you've seen it because it was members early. Ari, you've probably seen it as well. I saw you guys' comments.
Oh, dude, we're the firsters.
Yeah, you guys have probably seen it as well. We predicted 7 points from the next 5 games. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is a hot topic. By the way, Sean, Semix is also Armenian.
I
and
know
he's also
Sean.
in LA.
No, Sean. It's like my mind is blown because I've
Yeah.
been watching Semix for a while now, and I didn't even click.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I thought his name was Sean T. I kept calling him Sean T, and he's like, no, it's Sean. It's an Armenian name. But yeah, so is Semix. So maybe you guys could do a little.
we will.
Meet up in
We'll
LA,
go get
yeah.
some kebab and we'll watch United in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. And he was also hating on Mamardashvili, by the way. I don't know if that's a little Armenian Georgia action
Yeah,
right there.
a little
but-
bit. At least it wasn't Azerbaijan, so. I mean, that's
Yeah, okay. At least we're not talking about Baku. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I predicted, and Rishi agreed with me, 7 points in the next 5 games. And essentially what we said was the floor is at 6 points and the ceiling is at 9 points. So best case scenario, we win our 3 home games and we lose the 2 away games. What are your guys' thoughts? I want a points number and a short thought following that, starting with Papi Pique.
Okay, so we're talking about how many points we're gonna get, right?
Yes, we're playing Everton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Wolves, and Bournemouth. Those
Yeah,
are our 5
Bournemouth.
games.
Now, look, I think we're gonna get 10 points for me. Like
Okay.
for me, I think we're
Okay.
gonna not at least, maybe we're gonna get 10, 11 points because I mean we're going against, well, we're going against Everton. Okay, Everton have not been like at the start of the season they've been in good form, but lately they've been kind of iffy.
Okay.
And Wolves, we already know Wolves. I mean, they could pull up an upset. We don't know. That's how football works. And we got Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. These are the real 2 tests because
Okay.
Iraola and Glasner, they've been calling them. I mean, better managers than Amrin. So
Yeah.
I want to see like a real test. Like I want to see how Amrin will perform and how the players would perform against both Crystal Palace and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And West Ham, and about West Ham, I think we can win against West Ham. We're gonna play away, right? I think we're gonna play away, but I think we can still win because West Ham have not been like in a good form this season.
Okay. So Papi Pique is basically saying we're not going to get fingered in the next 5 games. That's your
Yeah.
point. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
was that Ugarte? We're like not gonna get
Okay.
fingered, but like,
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. That's his prediction, guys. 11 points. So he's basically saying 3 wins and 2 draws, or 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Again, I don't hate the shout. Like I hope every single one of you that's predicting more points than me is right, because I'd rather be wrong, but I'm afraid I am right. Robert, what's your prediction?
For me, I think we're getting 10, 12 points. That's what I think we'll get.
10 to 12?
Yes, maybe with maybe 3 wins and 2 draws. That's
11 points. That's 11 points.
Yeah, that's 11 because I think
we're going unbeaten?
I think we could beat Wolves actually. Then we start with Everton, right? I think because we're at home, I think we're going to beat Everton maybe 2-1, 1-0.
Yeah, but by the way, both what Sheshko Zone said and Robert is saying that you guys are predicting we're going to be 10 games unbeaten by the end of these 5 games.
That is actually possible because the team that is really making me to feel like I might be afraid is this team, Crystal Palace. But then again, we drew at Selhurst Park last year or last season, and I think we might get a result, maybe a 1-0 win. Then it really matters. I think are we playing Aston Villa in that stretch?
Next game after Bournemouth.
After Bournemouth, yeah.
So we are playing Wolves, Everton, Palace, West Ham, and the 5th one is going to be who?
Bournemouth.
I think we beat Bournemouth actually. For me, I think we beat Bournemouth. Then we do Aston Villa and Palace. That is what I think.
Yeah.
That is what I think. Because I think this team is actually capable of going into an unbeaten run of maybe 14 games. It's actually possible. We have no European games, no midweek games still in the FA Cup. I think it's actually possible. And matters regarding that Tottenham game, for me, I think Amorim has shown that he can perform against managers people think are better than him. Because people are saying Frank could be the option. And the reason we drew that Tottenham game is not an Amorim problem, but it was just the players.
Well, I mean, he beat Pep Guardiola 4-1 in his last game in charge of Sporting. So we know he can beat managers who are considered better.
So he's good at proving points. He's very good, and also the way he researches the games. I think you're doing 10, 11 points, or maybe even 12.
Okay, that's a great shout, Robert. Kerwin, Mr. Bunda Analyzer himself. What are we saying?
Come on, guys. Don't goon on this channel. No, listen.
Yeah, my mom watches these streams, guys. Let's keep it easy, please.
Look, for me, I personally feel like we could take anywhere from 6 points to 15 points. It's always United versus United because I saw a bit of your stream. The one that was such a doom and gloom stream about 7 or 8 points we were going to get. But I think when we go into the games, as we go into each game, we have to look at how the mentality of the players are and what the previous game's result is that could drive us on, because everything is based on how the players feel, not so much about the opposition. Yes, it'll be tough. Like Everton was tough in pre-season. They bullied us, to be honest. But I think we can get at least 10 points minimum. I'm hoping for 15, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're all predicting title charges so far, is what I'm hearing. Because we got, I think we were 3rd in the table in the last 5 set of games with 11 points, and Arsenal were the only one with 13, and maybe Man City had 12 because they lost
Villa had 12.
Oh, Villa had 12. Yeah. So there's a lot of very optimistic people here, and I appreciate it. And listen. Me and Rishi weren't trying to be doom and gloom. We were trying to look at it from a very realistic perspective. And Kerwin, you make a good point. We have to look at it from game to game, right? Obviously, we go beat Everton 5-0, then I'm not going to predict a loss against Palace like I did after that. But my point was sitting here right and now, in the next 5 games, I think there are going to be some tricky fixtures. And somebody asked, right, Huge Sharks basically asked me, how can we get top 4 and only 7 points in this run? It's because... in the next 5 set of games, when we're in AFCON, I'm going to predict more points than you guys are going to predict, right? Because I think that's how this United team goes. In difficult games, when we see games against Villa, Man City coming up, I think we're going to get more points than you guys expect. And in these games, we're going to get less points than you guys expect.
Stay away from the betting apps.
Stay away from the what?
The betting apps.
Oh yeah,
betting
apps. With United, stay away from the betting apps. That's the biggest knowledge that Ari has dropped is this is a team unless you're going to bet with me, right? Which is basically expect them to do the unexpected consistently. Which is if you see a game that we're going to win, you probably bet on a draw or a loss. and you probably have a fairly good odds. So that's my point. I think in these 5 games, I think we're going to underperform. And then in games where we're going to play, I don't know, City, Liverpool, Tottenham, or something like that in a stretch of 5 games, we'll do better than you expect. And in fact, these last 5 games, guys, are exactly those 5 games that I'm talking about. Nobody expected us to get 11 points. If I spoke to you guys before those 5 games, we would not have predicted 11 points. And that's when I was talking about us getting top 4. So let's keep that in mind. Ari, go next.
My heart is telling me 3 wins and 2 draws. So that's 9, 10, 11 points.
11 points, yeah.
My brain is telling me 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses.
Okay, so 7 points.
7 points.
Yeah, 7 points.
No, sorry. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a
so
loss.
8 points.
That's 8 points.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Nelson?
You guys are. I love every single one of these fans, man. There's no chance we're getting any win. Okay, Everton. That might be the 2 wins I can possibly see. Everton, West Ham. That's 6
Those
points.
are the ones that we predicted. Everton, West Ham were the wins we predicted, and Bournemouth was the draw.
I think I don't see Bournemouth draw. Maybe Wolves draw. I think Bournemouth will lose. Crystal Palace will lose. At best, I'm saying at best 7. Because actually, Robert got something wrong.
Well, you don't see us getting 3 wins, 3 home wins.
Boys. We're playing November 30th, December 4th, December 8th. This is the first time we're going to play 3 games in 1 week. We haven't done that this whole season, and the fact that Casemiro keeps getting benched every 60 minutes, I have a funny feeling we're going to have that. We're leading the game, and then we either lose or draw. I feel
But
like
to be fair, Nelson, Palace has a Conference League game before they play us. So, and I think that might be one of those games in that 3-game stretch that you're talking about. And Palace is still a game that I predicted a loss in, but somebody made an interesting comment on one of my videos saying that Palace is playing Conference League, which is something that I hadn't necessarily considered. So it is a good point that we haven't played, week in, week out, but also it's the same for these teams, right? Bournemouth hasn't played 3 games a week or 2 games a week or whatever. Everton hasn't done that. Wolves hasn't done that either. The reason I thought we'd lose to Wolves is because they have a new manager, Rob Edwards, who used to, based on Rishi's amazing research, he played 100 games for them. He also was the coach of the youth team for them. And now he's coming back. He knows some of these players, or at least he knows the setup, right? Like the setup around the team.
Yeah.
So he can set up a game to beat us if he wants to. And it's also away from home. So that's why I thought that was the game that we could lose, and Bournemouth was the game we could draw. But okay, Nelson's saying 7 points. Shant.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I mean, we've heard some pretty good predictions here.
It's like Shant is like, I don't care what anybody else says. I disagree with Nelson.
No. I love Nelson so much. Whenever I see him up, I'm just like, dude, I gotta call him. But
yeah.
So next 5 games, this is what's gonna happen. Actually, I've seen the script.
Okay.
We're gonna play Everton. Cunha is going to just go on a tear. He's gonna score a brace. End of the game, through the tunnel, we just skirt right past Branthwaite. We say, hey, sorry about your shit you're going through. Amram just cups Ndiaye's back and says, listen, we got a spot for you next year.
Yeah, me too.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
like that.
So that's 3 points right there. And then Crystal Palace, rinse, repeat. Sheshko comes back. Martinez comes back. It's a 3-0 drubbing. We got
sorry,
To who? To who?
No, to us. We will win Palace. We will win Palace.
Okay.
We will win Palace.
Away from home.
3-0.
I hope so.
3-0.
I hope so.
Okay.
Have you seen Sheshko is injured also for man?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying he's gonna come back.
Kerwin will be, looking at Mateta's bunda, but we're gonna go skirt past him.
I do like that player. Not gonna
We're
lie.
gonna skirt past him. We're gonna go to Wharton. We're gonna say
He's
next
gotta-
year We got,
He's
a
got a
spot
big
for you.
ass and a big head, so let's go let's go sign him.
We need another slab head. We need another slab head.
Yeah. So 3 points from there. So that's 6 points. And then the rest of the games, West Ham, easy. That's 9 points. Wolves, 12 points. Bournemouth, we're going to look at Truffert. We're going to say, listen, that left wing back, that's yours.
Yeah,
I'm going to
okay.
say 15 points, 13 at least. I'm not even kidding.
Wait, you left out the player from West Ham though. I thought you were gonna say we're gonna go tap up Paqueta and get him in the summer as well.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
just
the
said
whole
no
point
betting,
is we
right?
get
Are
3
we going?
points
Are we
every
going to
game and a
Paqueta?
player.
Are we going to Paqueta Island? Nah, I'm good on that. He's more of a city player, 116. You know.
Okay. Oh, I see what you did there. You're adding.
Hey, City wanted him though. City
Yeah,
wanted
that's
him.
what I'm
That's the funny
saying.
thing.
He's so city coded. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the Rishi track.
Okay. And so I'm assuming Bournemouth at home is the easiest of them all, right?
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
And then we go get Semenyo.
And we'll draw. We'll draw against them.
Oh, you draw?
Okay.
At worst.
At
So
worst?
honestly,
Okay.
I'm not even kidding you. I think the least we should be satisfied with is 11, and I do think we'll probably perform better.
Okay. You
That's
better
also-
figure out your camera in the next
also-
5 games,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you. Because I'm going to
Also
have you
something
back
you
on the
guys-
stream. If we get anything less than 11, I had somebody comment on my podcast video, by the way, that if we get any more than 7 points, I'm going to unsubscribe. So till the fact,
Don't worry. I'll coax them back in.
No,
I'll say, listen,
not only
listen,
that,
you
he
need
said.
balance.
Not only that, he said, I'm going to block your channel. I don't want your negativity on my feed.
Main character syndrome.
Oh,
So my point is that until the fact that we're gonna get 7 points, so if we win the first game and draw the second game or something like that, this guy's gonna keep watching my videos, and then the second we seem like we're gonna do better than 7, he's gonna stop watching my videos. So I found that hilarious. But okay, we got everybody shout. Rishi, we already know what you think. But any last thoughts before we end it here?
Yeah, just that I think United Strand sits there every day and he wonders why did he say winning run? Why did he not say unbeaten run? Because that was just as unlikely. Because he would have cut his damn hair right now. And we have
I
a good
disagree,
chance of-
Rishi. I think he's living his life up large, bro.
This
The
is-
longer
he
we go
loves
on without
this.
his hair getting
He's
cut, the
living-
more money he gets to make, and more relevant he stays.
There are 15 months. of
No,
playing.
but I don't think. See, I don't think the man's a real fan. Okay, so he's hurting just as much because he wants the team to do well, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all fans, right? So we want to see the team do good, which is a long wound up way of saying that. See, we predicted 7 points, and what's happening is like a lot of people think that we are suddenly anti-Amorim or we are being pessimistic. No, it's if anything, it's the opposite. We're being realistic, and if we do get 7 points out of 15, doesn't mean that it's the end of the day, and doesn't mean that there should be shouts of Amorim out. It's just a part of the process. And like Andy
Rishi,
said,
I agree with you.
Yeah, but-
However, your video with Andy, right? Let me just say this. I do feel like it was a bit doomed because if I had to ask you guys to analyze it from the opposite angle, so from the opposition's perspective, you might not have said that those teams would have pulled the amount of points that your video suggested, that we would only take 7 and the other teams would take the rest of the points. That's what I believe. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying I did feel like the angle was a little bit pessimistic, and not so much.
Kerwin,
not
I'll say this.
necessarily
Yeah.
in truth.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead. Sorry, you go.
Yeah. So you make a good point, because would any of those teams go through the same 5 games we just had and take 11 points? Probably not, right? The next 5 teams that we're playing, in terms of Everton, Crystal Palace, the reason I was predicting that is because we tend to struggle against teams that sit back. We haven't seen this season yet us breaking down a team that's sitting with 40% possession and will not let anybody but Mateta leave go into the other side of the team, right? Unless it's a counterattack. So until I see evidence of that, like let's say we go and beat Everton and Crystal Palace, you'll be seeing me here, doing this stream and saying, guys, I was wrong. We're going to get more than 7 points. Because if we get to after the Palace game and we've won 2 in a row and we're 7 unbeaten, will I predict just 1 point from the next 3 games? No, I'll be crazy for doing that. But beating Palace away is going to be a big, big test. So if we
Yes.
do that, that tells me a lot more about this team than I know currently. So that's based
Also,
on
we
new
gotta
information that I'll be changing my prediction.
100%.
we got to remember, guys, that the reason that we came to losing the last two games is because we were not able to win our individual duels. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And all of these teams that we're going to face, right, they're very, very physical teams. No one is realizing that. No one is bringing that up. Prime Everton under Moyes, physical. Crystal Palace under Grasner, physical. Wolves, physical. West
Bournemouth.
Ham under Nuno, physical, very physical, right? And they're all packed with the midfields are packed with monsters. And then Bournemouth, Iraola, they're physical, they're up for individual duels, right? And our midfield can be a little bit light. So that is a huge
I
factor
agree.
in why we predicted that we could find these games difficult. Now, despite all of that, we managed to get some positive results. We are a very good home team. So even in that 5-game preview that we gave, I said in the end that we are a bit of a home team, so we could actually get 9 points and we could lose those 2 away games and actually win those 3 home games. So it's
Or
just another.
even getting to the point where we in this stretch that we just had, after the first 3 games we were 9 points, right? And it was 2 home games, 1 away game, and then the last 2 games were away and we drew both games. So even what Sheshko, what Papi Pique said, what Robert said of predicting 11 points, it's not impossible. Right, we could win our 3 home games and draw the other 2. It's
Are
just
you
that
willing to change
we
your
would be
prediction
doing
today?
something. No, we wouldn't be saying we would be seeing something we haven't seen before in order to go unbeaten in the next 5 games. That's what my point
Fair
is.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys, we got everybody's thoughts. Great call today. I'm finally standing up, and I need to go touch some grass, the little grass that is left in Canada at this time of year. But yeah, thanks for joining, man. And Nelson, special shout out to you. You've been online for almost the whole call, and been on video for the longest today. So maybe Sean can take some inspiration and be on camera next time for some real conversation. But yeah, you guys, both of you reach out to me on Discord. We'll set something up. Yeah.
All right.
Take care,
Yeah,
guys.
all right,
Thanks for
man.
the call.
See you guys.
That's it.
Bye.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks everybody in the stream for joining, man. You guys are troopers. I've seen more than 50 people be live for the whole time, so really appreciated. Varun, Rishikesh, Ayush, you guys are legends, man. Next time you should join the stream because I'd love to have you guys on. And be cool. I see you in the background. I'm so sorry. The call's already gone 2 hours, so we can't really do it today. But Semix was also live the whole time. You're a legend. See you guys all later, man. Peace.